Hello everybody, how's it going? And welcome to the Weirdness of 7.27b. In case you aren't aware, there's been a new Dota patch that was released yesterday, last night, something like that. And in that patch we have some hero changes. Now as always, we're not going to be looking at balance changes. So of course Darkseer now has one less armor. And while that's really funny, it doesn't really change how you play the hero. We're going to be looking at gameplay changes. And I'm going to be taking you through them, and that's pretty much the plan for today. Now you may notice that this is not as much as it usually is. That's because this patch actually has a really nice comfortable size. The selection of heroes that they reworked in, like not even just a significant way. I actually included some smaller stuff in here as well, just because it wasn't that many. It's a really comfortable amount in my opinion. And I wish they did changes, they did balance patches and kind of like changes to heroes in this quantity more so than in the huge quantity that they tend to do, where it's like basically the entire cast being fixed up. But anyway, we're playing, we're going to start out with Centaur Warrunner here, so let's have a quick look. Centaur Warrunner had Retaliate changed, so it no longer has the active component. Instead, it's just a flat amount of damage with a little bit of bonus strength return damage, which is nice. Right, this is kind of going back to the classic. It also now only does half damage to towers, but of course, since the Retaliate overall will be doing more damage, that should be fine. Fun fact about this, it now makes it so that, well, by the way, here you can kind of see, I don't know, it's hard to show the difference, right? Like, this right here is like 40 strength, so right now, if I equip this, it'll do 10 extra damage. This is really the kind of thing that will have more of an impact long-term in a match, right? But anyway, this actually makes it so that Centaur has 3 abilities based on strength, so stacking hearts is on the menu as far as I'm concerned. Let's go ahead and get this bad boy out of here. Got Snapfire. So Snapfire had 2, I guess 3-ish changes. We've got ourselves Little Shredder. The most important change here is that it no longer slows attack speed, and instead it applies an armor loss effect. This works on a stack basis, so every attack of Little Shredder applies a stack of 1, and it has an armor loss duration of 4. So kind of looks like this. There we go. And now our Nyx Assassin has -6 armor. Now, for in more fun news, I suppose, Snapfire also has a Little Shredder level 25 talent, which makes it multi-shot. Which is cool, I like it. I mean, you do still have the Little Shredder uses your attack damage talent, which is also pretty fun. On top of that, Scatter Blast now applies an attack speed slow. So if this guy attacks me, I can... And then, got a bit of an attack speed slow. Of course, it's fairly brief, so it's not super significant, but nonetheless. We got ourselves Sven. So we've got Stormhammer, kept the same as before. Great Cleave, just a small increase in the distance. This really won't have too much of an impact. Warcry, so no longer provides bonus damage. Movement speed is now provided for allies as well. Movement speed bonus reduced and mana cost reduced. In other words, it's back to how it used to be before. Right, it gives you movement speed and armor. It's the same ability as it used to be. On that note, God's Strength also going back, no longer providing strength. It instead provides more bonus damage and has a longer duration. So God's Strength also been adjusted. To go along with that, of course, the talent that existed for it has also been adjusted. So it's kind of like a thing here, like simplifying it, kind of going back to the basics. I'm not sure how much I like this personally. I think the Warcry change is good. I like this Warcry effect more. I like the new God Strength a bit though. I thought it was kind of a cool, interesting, and also kind of thematic thing. Like, you get strength, but, whatever. So, Razor. We got ourselves Plasma Field. Reduced cooldown. Nothing interesting. Static Link. Static Link no longer disarms you, nor does invisible attacks through the link, but instead allows you to attack while moving. By default, it will automatically attack the target linked, but it allows you to attack a different target. So, what we can do with this is we can attack like this, which is kind of cool, but I can also attack this. But if I move, you can see it stops attacking that guy, right? So I can't move and attack this fella, but instead it will just attack the guy that I'm linked up to. Which is kind of cool. Now, are you guys ready for the craziest ability in the game? I'm gonna need chat to push one to confirm that they are ready. And I need you on YouTube to brace yourself, for we are about to look at the world's craziest ability. Razor's E has been changed. I'm gonna skill it. And it now provides 20% bonus movement speed. That's it. That's what it does. It's not an AoE effect anymore. It doesn't deal any damage. It just gives 20% bonus movement speed. This is the dumbest thing in the game. I honestly don't get it. Why? It's just unbelievable to me. Anyway, and an Eye of the Storm no longer has a passive component, so it doesn't have the passive AoE strike. So if I skill this, it doesn't do anything passively anymore. Which is kind of a shame. I actually like that effect. But yeah, I don't know how this happens. I don't know how this happens. At least give it back the like damage when you cast a single target spell on him, right? At least give him that. Don't just give him like, what is this? What is this garbage? I don't know. Just sorry, it's just nonsense in my opinion. It's just nonsense. Gauss's Medusa. So, Split Shot, primary arrow now has the same damage reduction as the secondary arrow. Split Shot can now be toggled. Split Shot extra arrow count increased from 3 to 4. Split Shot secondary bonus range from 100 to 150. And Split Shot damage increased. So, pretty much, you know, like the old Split Shot, where it reduces your damage, but you know, like can't toggle it. This is actually a more interesting ability in my opinion. I like this more than the old one because it's mostly the same in a lot of scenarios. It's just more interesting to play because with the old Split Shot, like with the old Split Shot, as in this current Split Shot, you kind of have a bit of decision making in any combat, right? Like I'm attacking this guy. Let's say I'm standing here, right? And this is the carry and this is Tobias. Who cares about Tobias, right? If I activate this now, I will deal more damage to Tobias, but the carry isn't taking as much, right? I might actually want to do this in single target mode just to prioritize taking down Pablo. And that to me is actually kind of like an interesting decision-making process that I personally like quite a lot. Other than that, nothing changed about Medusa. So I'm actually personally a bit of a fan of that. I'm not particularly worried about it, to be honest. I feel like either one is fine, but overall, I like it. Bloodseeker is the one that probably had, along with Clinkz, the most changes. So, Blood Rage has been reworked. Increases your attack speed by an amount and your spell amplification by up to 24%. Drains 3% maximum health per second. Self or ally hero cast lasts 8 seconds. I don't know why they're describing the whole ability in here. But, so yeah, the way this works is I cast it on myself, and as you can see, I'm now taking damage. I can also cast it on my teammates, and very importantly, I can cast it while moving, right? Like you can see, I can even cast it backwards. I do not need to interrupt myself. It doesn't have any sort of cast point from what I can tell. I wonder if I can cast it even while attacking. Yes, I don't know if you noticed, but I actually got an attack out while I was casting it. So you can even cast it while attacking. It increases your attack speed by 140 and then your spell amplification by 24%. That, to me, isn't really exciting, the spell amp, but the attack speed is pretty sick. Then we have Blood Rite, the same as before, but now, of course, you can deal a little bit more damage with it, with the Blood Rage. First no longer grants attack speed. First now provides 15% of maximum health as a heal for creep kills and 30% for hero kills. Grants half healing if you're within 300 radius of a dying enemy creep or hero. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and give this a go really quick. Because I'm not sure about you, but I'm personally not currently sure whether or not this is based on
Just
my...
passing by to give my free sub to the best YouTube content creator.
Hey, HQ, Marcelo HQ, thank you very much for the 2 months. Well, I highly doubt that's me, but I appreciate the thought nonetheless. Oh, does it show it? Nah, it doesn't quite show. Alright, we're gonna need to take some damage somehow. Probably unequip the heart is a good starting point here, no? Alright. So what we want to figure out right now is whether or not this heal is based on our maximum HP or it is based on the creep's maximum HP. So this creep has 300 HP, 15% of that will be about 45. No lich, not you. So if we go in here and we kill this, so it is based on the target's maximum HP, otherwise we would have been healed by a lot more. It's important information. That makes it a bit worse, but it is, you know, I think it's still overall a fine ability. You gotta keep in mind kind of scales with the game. I also have to say this new Blood Rage seems quite a bit more powerful. To me, the biggest change is really that you can cast it while moving. That's a pretty nice one. So yeah, anyway. We got ourselves Clinkz. So, let's maybe unequip this. No spoilers here. Strafe. Strafe is a basic ability again. Grants attack speed and 100% evasion against ranged attackers. Yeah, we're back to old Strafe. Well, not super old Strafe, kind of like mediocre old Strafe. Like a nicely, evenly crisp Strafe, right? It's been in the oven, but not that long. We got ourselves Searing Arrows. That's just the good old Searing Arrows, right? Skeleton Walk. Skeleton Walk now provides invisibility and movement speed. Does not end invisibility when casting his spells. Yeah, doesn't mean you can attack out of it, of course, right? Searing Arrows is not a spell in that way. But I can go invisible and cast Strafe if I want to. And then Death Pact. Death Pact has been reworked and is now his ultimate. Consumes a target friendly or enemy creep, gaining a percentage of its hit point as max health and damage. Gains 14% of the target's current health as damage. Gains 100% as health. Lasts 65 seconds, I assume. Cooldown 60, mana cost 100, cost range. It's the old Clinkz. This is just, it's the old Clinkz, right? They just kind of like said, alright, these reworks aren't working for us, let's go ahead and go back to what worked for us. Something that I think is immediately a nice addition to this though, is that they made it so that you can cast this while invisible. I think that's just all around a nice addition to Clinkz. It always felt a bit awkward to have to time the Skeleton Walk with Death Pact. So yeah. And then finally, you saw it a second ago, but Clinkz still has an Aghanim's effect, which is now the Burning Army. So they didn't have his old ultimate go to waste, instead they made it an Aghanim's effect, which is actually a pretty clever use of it, I have to say. I do like it, right? And you do also still have this Searing Arrows multi-shot here, which you can use if you want to. I don't know, wait, these guys should get it too, right? Yeah, there you go. So that's kind of cool. And then as for talents, of course, we need to have new talents. Skeleton Walk exit summons a Burning Army skeleton, so that's cool. We have the kills reset Death Pact cooldown. I don't know how good that is. That kind of comes down to, can you stack Death Pact, right? If I have 2 Death Pacts going on, will I actually get multiple benefits? No. So that means that talent seems kind of pointless, in my opinion. 125 attack range, and then finally plus 50/5% Death Pact health / damage, which seems fine. Probably still gonna take the multi-shot there. But yeah, overall, pretty solid. I mean, just kind of going back to the old Clinkz. To be honest, this hero did always kind of work. There's a part of him that I find a little bit, personally, a little bit silly, because this ability is attack speed, this ability is damage, this ability is movement speed, and this ability is health and damage. You know, like, he's kind of just got a little bit of a roundabout way of getting basic stats on all of his abilities. But yeah. Got ourselves a Tiny. So Tiny, we've got Avalanche now. Instead of having a 0.5 second delay, it has a projectile speed. Let's have a look at what that's like. So, like that. I mean, really makes no difference, does it? Then we have Tree Grab. So this has been reworked to have an attack count limit again. So if I go ahead and grab myself this and I hit with it, you can see it goes down to 7 and 6 and so on. And you can kind of like tick it down like that. At level 15 we can get +3 extra ones. So it doesn't usually cap out at 8. And then it goes away. To be honest, that feels better to me. I don't know why it kind of became a passive at a point. That felt weird, but oh well. We've got ourselves Treant Protector. So, Treant Protector has Leech Seed. Leech Seed is now an enemy target spell again. Yeah, I mean, it's just the old Leech Seed. right? Like it works exactly as it did before. It's just a single target now. And other than that, I think that's it. Eyes in the Forest can now come in with 3 charges all at once if you get the Aghanims. Which is cool, I guess. I'm not going to show it right now because getting Aghanims on this Treant Protector would be a huge hassle. But, you know, you can believe me on that. So we've got ourselves Earth Spirit. So Earth Spirit had a fun little addition with Enchant Remnant because you can now use it on yourself. I guess that's kind of cool. The real reason why I'm here though is because you can Enchant Remnant yourself and then Boulder Smash yourself. This to me is very funny. I just kind of like that. I assume you cannot Rolling Boulder, no. But you can just kind of kick yourself around. I'm not really sure how strong that is. It does kind of mean that if you're in a pickle, you can do this, which does make you completely immune, right? Like, keep that in mind. It is an ability that does just make you immune to everything. And then you can escape out of the situation pretty freely. It's going to make this hero a lot more difficult to kill. Right? Because this doesn't even have that long a cooldown, 45 seconds. That's totally fair to use to save your life. Right? And how are you going to interact with this? I mean, you're not really going to interact. So overall, this actually seems very strong. How does this, wait, I gotta test this. I don't really play Earth Spirit, so how does this interact? Oh yeah, it just kind of pushes through it. Yeah, this seems really hard to interact with. So I think some sort of like Aghanims-based Earth Spirit seems really nice. Now finally we got, well not finally, we still got Rubick left. Saving the best for last. Caustic Finale. Caustic Finale has been reworked. Attacking an enemy now places a debuff that slows the enemy by 25% movement speed for 5 seconds. If the target dies during the 5 seconds debuff, an explosion deals 130 plus 22% of the target's maximum health in the 550 AoE. So, when I attack somebody now and now they are slowed, it's a pretty strong slow. I mean, that's kind of tough. But it doesn't do anything anymore if you don't get the kill. Right? It's just purely a slow. In that way, I have to say, this feels like a nerf. Like a pretty hefty one at that. I mean, it's going to be better for laning. 70 base damage to level 1, plus maximum HP. So creeps have 300 health about, 586 right now. Right? So it's going to deal like 100 or so damage at level 1. Which is really strong. But outside of that, this is not going to be useful for heroes anymore. Right? I don't know. I guess if you can get the explosion on somebody, we can try it. All right, let's go ahead and see what happens if we get ourselves a kill here. All right, who wants to join? Yeah, let's get the Snapfire. Oh, let's get ourselves this guy. I mean, he does have 20% extra movement speed. He's gotta be able to get into, get over here the quickest. So if I do this now, right? Like I'm gonna go ahead and kill this guy, unequip the heart, re-equip the heart. Probably not in time, but anyway. That guy had 2000 HP. Like, I don't know. It's just, what's the point? It's not very impressive, if you ask me. I don't understand this one. It feels like they didn't even really fundamentally rework the ability. They just made it really lame. But yeah. And then finally we have Rubick. So what's new with Rubick? Fate Bolt, damage reduction changed from a fixed value to 34% base damage. And then also deals slightly more damage and whatnot. But that's not really what we're here for. You can now do this, and now the damage is reduced by 40 right now. And then you get yourself level 15, and you get the Fate Bolt deals 0 damage, and get the 50 base damage here. And then you do this, and all of a sudden you hit for 300, and Rubick has 110x, like has 10 extra base attack speed, and oh my god, look at him just go nuts. And then you play what the fuck mode, and you do this a bunch, and then oh my god, you hit for 500. And you're just the chattest Rubick the world has ever seen. And that's it. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of funny more so than anything. Okay, so that's pretty much, that's it. We're already done, 20 minutes. Didn't take an hour and a half this time. I wanna briefly talk about something. So, I find this patch very funny. So 7.27b, in case you didn't notice, undid a lot of changes that were done over the past months / like few years, and kind of like reverted back to older versions of the heroes, like with Razor and Centaur and Sven and Clinkz. And while to a certain extent you can interpret that, of course, as Dota testing stuff and then coming to the conclusion, okay, this just didn't work, we'll just get rid of it and go back and try again. And to be honest, that's a fair interpretation, right? Like, I find that's probably what's happening in all likelihood. And I find that personally to be quite respectable. It is difficult to look at something that you spend time and effort designing and creating and then just having to come to the conclusion that it's no good. It really sucks. I've been there. But while that is the case, I have to say I find my theory to be much more entertaining. Which is, here's my theory, okay? Here's my theory. My theory is this. There's two people making Dota patches. There's IceFrog and IceFrog 2. And IceFrog and IceFrog 2 do not get along. They freaking hate each other. IceFrog and IceFrog 2 both think that the other one is a goddamn idiot. And for some reason, they take turns creating patches. So right now, it's IceFrog 2's turn. And IceFrog 2 really likes old Dota. And IceFrog 1 is like, what the fuck, dude, man? Now I just fixed all of that crap. And now you're undoing it. And soon, it will be IceFrog 1's turn again. And IceFrog 1 will go and rework all of those heroes that have just been turned back into their old versions. And then it will be IceFrog 2's turn again, who will undo all of those changes. That's my theory. There's two IceFrogs, and they hate each other. And they take turns creating patches. And that's why it always feels like they're changing things and then undoing it, and then changing again and then undoing it. Because that happens a lot. And that's my theory. So, yes. I gotta say, I feel like that is just as likely as the other one. And I think it's very reasonable if you ask me. Anyway, that's it. That's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a rating in the video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.